What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to address the news of a $36,000 stimulus. This is a major update. I also want to address the rumors of a standalone bill and talk about Senator Joe Manchin's demands for Congress. Right now, there's a lot of back and forth going on, but there's a lot of discussions as to how can we provide for the people that were hurt the most. Now, I just want to come out and say the $36,000 stimulus is pretty much related to the child tax credit payments. That's what it is. $3,600 per year. But Senator Joe Manchin says we need to run this for 10 years. Now, this is crazy that he's even bringing this up because just 5 months ago, I don't even remember, but back in July and August, Senator Joe Manchin opposed Senator Bernie Sanders' $3.5 trillion bill. One reason was because he didn't like the child tax credit payments. He did not want to see them extended for an additional 4 years. He only said 1 year. But now he's saying let's extend it for 10 years. I will address why in today's video. First, Senator Joe Manchin was asked today why him and President Biden are at odds over the Build Back Better Act. First, he was very upset by these questions, and he just said that that's BS, that the reporter was BS. Now, Senator Joe Manchin, he says that his only demand was that the bill couldn't be more than $1.75 trillion. That was his only demand. And what Congress decided to do with that amount of money was on them. But here's where things get exceedingly clear. It has now become very clear that the $3,600 child tax credits would blow up this bill once extended for a full 10 years. Now, I want to be very clear on this and keep this in mind that Democrats are only asking for 1 year of an extension to the child tax credit payments. But according to Senator Joe Manchin and multiple other lawmakers, they say that once this provision is passed for 1 additional year, that would essentially mean 2 years of this. And there would be enough data behind this provision that after 2 years, it would have helped so much, which it already has, but it would help even more with an additional extension that there would be no way lawmakers would cut this bill. This would be something that the American people would be living off of, be 100% reliant on. So there's no way Congress could get rid of this after 2 years. So guess what? That makes it so much easier to pass the bill and create an extension for an additional 8 years. Here's the issue. The CBO stated last week that adding an additional 9 years onto this bill, onto this provision, this would actually increase the deficit by $1.6 trillion over 10 years. It costs about $180 trillion per year in order to fund this. So, here's what I can tell you. Now, Senator Joe Manchin, he said that he isn't objecting to the 1 year extension, but he wants the true cost of this bill to finally be revealed. He said that this provision should be for 10 years. He supports this for 10 years. And according to a CNN chief correspondent, Manu Raju, he asked Senator Joe Manchin about this. And Senator Joe Manchin says extending the provision for 10 years would require a complete blow-up of the current bill. He also said that Democrats would need to drop other programs in order to fit the 10-year child tax credits into this bill. There's no way around it. So, here's what else Senator Joe Manchin had to say, and I want to explain why this is so important. Senator Joe Manchin said, "We have $1.75 trillion to work with. I'm not in charge, so whatever they have to choose, they have to choose. It's not me." And he goes on to say, "I'm saying 10 for 10. If you're gonna do something, let's do it, let's commit. I'm committed." So he is saying 10 years. If we are going to extend the Build Back Better Act is going to run for 10 years, we're going to have tax revenue for 10 years. We're going to have many provisions in this bill for 10 years. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it right. Let's commit. And he's committed to 10 years. But that still has to be funded. So here's what I can tell you. And now remember, the other day, I said that multiple Senate aides were talking about and reporting how multiple lawmakers were discussing a potential standalone bill, but we didn't know what was going to be in that bill, other than the fact that it had a good chance of being the child tax credit payments. Well, just the child tax credit payments. This would fit under the $1.75 trillion price tag. Nothing else, just this, if it's extended for a full 10 years. But that would also mean that everything else in the Build Back Better Act, right, the American Families Plan, this stimulus package, the infrastructure bill, whatever you decide to call it, it would have to be dropped. One thing that would have to be included, though, which actually wouldn't increase the bill in size at all, is the tax revenue portion of this bill. That would have to be included because we still have to get $1.75 trillion in funding. Now, there are disagreements with all this as well. This isn't as simple as, let's just get it passed because Senator Joe Manchin says he's on board. There's still a lot of negotiating that has to be done, simply because at this time, there's still a lot of discussions regarding how are we going to tax the wealthier individuals? Who is going to see a larger tax liability? Where is all this coming from? Is the SALT tax deduction going to be included? And if so, is there going to be a cap on the amount of income that you earn per year? A lot of discussions. But here's where things get even crazier. If you thought that was crazy, get this. Senator Joe Manchin, he's arguing for 10 years of the child tax credit payments. However, his initial argument was that 5 years would actually be too expensive. So then they went down to 4 years. Remember, when Senator Bernie Sanders said that he had a framework and him and President Biden released their framework, it was at $3.5 trillion. Well, this had to be brought down. It came down to $2 trillion, and progressives still wanted to see anywhere between 2 to 2.4 trillion. And no, we heard from moderates and they said no, 1.5 trillion was our limit. Then President Biden got Senator Joe Manchin up to 1.75. Well, this is why we are now at $1.75 trillion, is because that was the issue. It was too expensive. But in order to avoid the provision in this bill from sunsetting after just 1 year, it would have to go back up. That's the crazy part. That is what is so frustrating. Now, I've been reading these articles. I've been looking at interviews. Been watching video footage of some of these reporters asking Joe Manchin, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, all these different lawmakers about, are we going to see the Build Back Better Act? But as of right now, nobody really has an answer. Now, Senator Joe Manchin, he also opposed the child tax credit payments because it was considered to be a very generous welfare program. And he wanted to make sure that people were working in order to receive this benefit. But here's the issue. Right now, nobody knows what direction to take. Nobody knows if Senator Joe Manchin is just trying to slowly walk them to death to get them to the end of the year and into 2022 anyway. Some are expecting that, but nobody really has an answer. But here's what I can tell you is going to happen now. Now that Senator Joe Manchin has come out and said he wants to see 10 years, guess what's going to happen? We're going to see there's going to be multiple lawmakers that push to get this as a standalone bill. So the little bit of support that was already being discussed within the Senate, that will probably overflow into the House, into representatives that really want to see this passed. Because if this isn't passed by December 28th, according to experts, there will be a delay of at least 1 month when it comes to the child tax credit payments. Here's the other issue. Having a delay of $250 to $300 for a low-income household that may only get $1,000, $1,500, or even $2,000 per month as total income, when you're going to get 10 to 20% of what you make in a month as a bonus, as a child tax credit payment, right? This is huge. This is big. It's greatly beneficial to that family. And so what's going to happen is progressives over probably the next few days, because it's only Wednesday, progressives over the next few days are most likely going to do what they can to get this extended. Whether it gets extended now or it may have to wait until 2022, we don't know. But as soon as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know right now. There's a lot of other stuff that has happened today, and I will address that tomorrow morning. I just wanted to fill you in on this because this right here I think is huge. If the American people, especially lower income households with children, again, mind you, this is only for people with children. If lower income households with children can now rely on $3,600 a year per child or $3,000 for a child between the ages of 6 and 17, that's huge. Because $3,000 alone could help pay for food, clothing, school supplies, right? Extracurricular activities. It could pay for a lot of stuff. So, as I know more, I promise I will bring you the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of right now. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing so I can keep you up to date on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.